Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kemi, and at Home Talks, our goal is to build godly homes and raise healthy families through the help of the Holy Spirit. If this is your first time of coming, thank you very much for coming. If this is not your first time of coming, thank you for always coming. I appreciate you. If you're yet to subscribe as a first timer or as a regular person always coming to my channel, I'd appreciate if you can subscribe and also like and share this video. So straight to what we have. The mind is very potent. It's like the most potent tool that we have, that we can possess, and the Bible even makes us understand that as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. That's why it's very important for us to consider what we have today, renewing our mind, and renewing our mind now with relation to marriage and relationships. I tell you, there are many negative narratives here about marriage. It's almost that once you hear marriage, the next thing you are putting with it is, oh, it must be something bad and stuff like that. One of the fears I had that made me actually venture into talking about marriages and everything, I think I'd heard so many stories that I was almost afraid that this marriage thing, am I sure? But I come to understand that actually there are so many beautiful stories that you actually know here about. And reason, like they say, negative news spreads faster. Negative narratives that we've heard of marriage has actually made marriage made marriage something that is quite an impossible task, or is something that is just a necessary evil or stuff like that. And it's very important to renew your mind every day. There was a particular time when I was scrolling through Instagram, and I just saw a story and was asking for people's opinions. Once I read the post, I just deliberately said I'm not going to go through the comments, because I didn't want to read anything that is going to fill my mind with fear or fill my mind with some negative things again about marriage. The negative things we see and we hear on a daily basis is enough, but I had to be deliberate to not to actually read those things, and I've been taking conscious steps now over time not to actually read any negative narrative I hear about marriage. I'm more focused on, let's look at the positive, let's look at those who are actually getting it right and who are actually wanting people to get it right, not those who are just saying that marriage is overrated or marriage is just a necessary evil and stuff like that. It's very important, if you're particularly as a single person like me, that you know what you feed on a daily basis. You know what you're putting into your mind, you know what you're allowing in your subconscious, because it is your subconscious that would actually determine your reality eventually when you get married. If you're the kind of person that's already seen marriage as overrated, or marriage as something that you're going into and you're just going to go and endure it, or you're going to have a whole lot of issues, there's no way you're not going to fight, you're always going to have issues with your partner and stuff like that, I tell you, by the time you're going into the marriage, you're going into the marriage with the mindset that, oh, this is like a battleground, something that I just have to do, or you're going into the marriage of, this is a cross I have to bear, or this is a burden I have to bear. But it's way more than that. And how do you renew your mind? First and foremost, be mindful of the things that you read, that you hear, and that you listen. Okay, that you hear and that you watch. There are many people whose sole business is just to be spreading the news about, today this marriage has crashed, tomorrow there is domestic violence, next tomorrow is the woman that is hiding finances from her husband, the other day is a man that is cheating on his wife and stuff like that. They never tell you the beautiful things or the beautiful experiences of marriage. They only tell the good ones, and they'll be advising singles, it's better you're just on your own, it's better to be single than to be this thing, it's better to be just so many stories. Be very careful. If on a daily basis you're scrolling through your feed, Instagram, Facebook, or Twitter or anything, and all you're seeing is the negative marriage narratives, I think you have to do a cleansing and a purging of the kind of people that you have on your timeline that are making you see those kind of things. So what you read, the books that you read, the blogs that you read, the articles that you read, it's very important that they're the ones that are actually encouraging you to go, that are writing about the beautiful stories of marriage, that are telling you the positive things and making you have a positive mindset towards marriage. The movies that you watch, you can't consistently watch movies on divorce, on domestic violence, on issues in marriage, and it would fill your mind. There was a time I was watching a particular movie, and they kept using certain words, and before I knew it, I started using those words. I had to consciously call myself like, no, I can't use this particular words. I had to stop watching the movie as well. So the same thing goes for marriage. I personally do not like to watch movies that have to do with that is extolling, or that is how do I put it, that is making marriage look like a burden. I would rather go for movies that actually have a balanced view on marriage and encourage the positive and beautiful things of marriage. So if you keep watching movies on divorce, on domestic violence, on so many things, and it keeps affecting your mind is very susceptible. It will just absorb everything. Before you know it, in your subconscious, you'll be expecting this kind of things. And it is the music that you listen to, or anything at all. Just be very, very deliberate about what you read, what you watch, and what you listen to. Also, your environment. Now, if you're in an environment, perhaps the environment may be might be your, for instance, probably your parents' marriage and is not so great, or they're having issues on a constant basis. We hear of so many dysfunctional families, and you're in that environment, you're in that space, not by any not by anything that you've done. You just find yourself there. Then it's very important, if you can't leave that particular environment where you keep seeing the bad things, probably through your parents' marriage, or through a relative, or through a neighbor, or someone like that, then you would have to be very there. If you can't, probably you can't leave at the moment because, oh, you're still depending on them for certain things, then you would have to be conscious about how it affects you. You have to keep telling yourself each day that regardless of what I'm saying, regardless of what I'm experiencing with them, it's not going to be my reality. And you would have to take deliberate steps through reading, or that looking outside, creating an environment, like a safe space for yourself, using other people. Now, I won't say as models, because our perfect model is the way Christ and is Christ and the church, but there are other people who have beautiful marriages you can use as an example. Oh, it's working for this person, it's working for that person. It might not be working for my parents or the people I'm with, my immediate environment and stuff like that, but at least I know it is working for someone. So you have to be very deliberate and very conscious of the fact that this marriage thing is actually very beautiful. Another point is your friends. If you're in the category of, you're in the group of friends that are always saying men are scum, marriage is overrated, marriage is this, marriage is that, or that, I tell you, that is the mentality, that is the idea you actually take into marriage. Surround yourself with friends that encourage marriage. If you're single and you have married friends, look for married friends. Have married friends that you can actually see the beauty of marriage from them, not people that are always trying to downplay the importance of marriage, or always trying to push out the negative narratives, the problems, the woes, the challenges, and the everything of marriage. I tell you, the people you surround yourself with would actually go a long way in how your mind will be affected about marriage. If you have a friend who just believes that one day they will get married, marriage is just for it to get married, settle down, then you manage, no, it would affect. Let me give a perfect example. This one, they're not my friends. They just happened to be my roommates while I was in university. And they just said, well, all men cheat. Just accept it like that. Your husband is going to cheat. Imagine I had them as friends. And this is the thing they keep saying and they keep telling me. I would be going forward with that mentality that, oh, one day, probably when I get married, my husband is going to be, he's not going to be loyal. He's going to cheat or something like that. But I do not have them as friends. Their opinions weigh nothing when it comes to when I want to take decisions. So imagine you now have this set of people as friends. You can imagine the effects they would have on your mind and what you think and see about marriage. So it's very, very important in renewing your mind. You have to take deliberate steps to know that marriage is beautiful. Please and please and please, I'm begging you, all the negative narratives, I don't know how I want to do. As long as you're still in this world, you would always hear the stories of divorce. You would always hear the stories of domestic violence. You always hear the stories of cheating. You would always hear, they are all around us. But take deliberate effort and take conscious steps to make sure that your mind, your heart is well guarded against every negativity about marriage that you're hearing. There are so many beautiful stories. Go and look for them. Look for. I think from if I can remember, I think right from when I was 16, when I was in church, as we are coming back, we are filing out of the service during my secondary school days. You will see there's a section for mothers and fathers with children. That's children's section, and I always look out for couple who are always together. So feed your mind with positive things about marriage, and it will go a long way in how it will affect your own marriage as a single person going forward. You can't fill your mind with all the bad things and expect to have good things. No, it is out of the abundance of your heart you would bring forth your own reality in your marriage. So I implore you, your friends, your environment, the things you read, the people you listen to, these marriage counselors you listen to, and the things you watch is very important in you guarding your heart and guiding your mind when it comes to marriage. Is there anything at all, because I would love to hear from you, you want to add to this subject matter of renewing your mind and guarding your mind against every negativity and believing in God's word, believing in God's promises, and believing in God's purpose for marriage? I would love to hear from you, and you can always do that in the comment section. Thank you very much for watching. Do enjoy your weekend.